Thank you. Well, this is the first of what I hope will be many of these sort of evenings. There is a really cool thing going around the country, and some of these guys have been involved in this. And the whole concept is people coming out and hearing songs and hearing the value of songs and songwriters and how we do what we do, the craft that goes into how we put together the things that you hear. And so what we hope to do tonight is to both share some of the things that we've written. We're going to sing and play some of those songs for you. But we also want to just give you a little kind of glimpse into how we do what we do. And so I'm going to be kind of navigating the evening. If any of you know me, you know that I'm a pretty casual guy, so it's going to be kind of a ebb and flow thing, and we're all going to be kind of talking and sharing and talking about what we do, how we write a song, what the idea was, where it came from, what our inspirations are, et cetera, and hopefully you can get a little bit of a peek inside of our really cluttered, crazy brains that we possess. And I'm pretty sure that artists have the weirdest brains that God put here on the planet. So we're going to, in a very scary way, let you peek in just a little bit to who we are and what we do. So we're going to sing, we're going to play, we're going to talk. So I think I'm going to ask, and there's no format here. This is the first time I've ever done this. These guys are pros at this. I play at restaurants and people eat and maybe listen to a little bit of what I do. So this is a cool thing and a new thing for me, but we're going to just kind of flow with it. So I think Scott and Michelle, this is Scott and Michelle Dalziel. They are originally from St. Louis, and they've been here, what did you tell me, Michelle, for 10?
I'm from St. Louis. Scott's from Iowa.
I'm from Iowa.
Iowa, okay.
Together we are also from Iowa. We lived there for about 14 years or 13 years, although Michelle denies that ever happened.
Tell us about the song you're going to sing.
Well, speaking of Iowa, it gave me a lot of reasons to write about seasonal depression. So I have a lot of songs about that.
We may get into that later, but
Michelle, can you tell us about your boots?
My boots.
Well,
oh, yeah, it's kinda
Were
hard to
they
see.
made for walking?
I don't know. Those are serious boots.
Those are
you like my boots? You like my boots? Woo. Can you see them on camera? I can't really lift my leg up. I'm in a skirt.
That won't be a good
so
shot, I don't think.
But
Can you tell these fine people what that is in front of you?
This is a djembe. It's African percussion. They back in the day they would use this drum for weddings and weather ceremonies and even funerals and visitors and all kinds of stuff. So I kind of liked it, and I had to get one. It's actually really good for upper body workout. You know, really good for that. I just need to invent something for my butt. Like butt cymbals or something.
Now there's
No
a
squishy
reason.
so that's
tushy,
how
huh?
we're going to get started.
You asked, I deliver.
All right, y'all sing a song for us, please.
All right, this is a song that kind of chronicles a trip that we took out to Los Angeles. Actually, I used to live out in Los Angeles, but Michelle and I went out there on a honeymoon. It only took us 5 years to do that. So this is Topanga Canyon.
Yeah, this is a hippie song, so I hope you like it. Yay! Duffel bag and a green pair of sneakers, long stringy hair all braided back. She got choices laid before her and a heart to take her there. Nothing else can hold her back. She's a free spirit for Topanga Canyon, headed for the western sky. She set her heart upon Topanga Canyon. Everybody else can say goodbye. He got dreads past his shoulders, an old Volkswagen van, an image that a job Free spirit for Topanga Canyon, headed for the western sky. He set his heart upon Topanga Canyon. Everybody else can say goodbye. They hold a lot of conversation to keep their eyes awake. Exhaustion couldn't stop this drive. She takes a wheel while he takes a break. They plan to marry at the beach, just them and the preacher, the witnesses, the wind and the sea. As far as they can tell, the dreams are coming true, long as they together can run free. Free spirits for Topanga Canyon, hey, hey, headed for the western sky. They set their hearts upon Topanga Canyon. Everybody else can say goodbye. Free spirits for Topanga Canyon, hey, hey, headed for the western sky. They set their hearts upon Topanga Canyon, and everybody else can say goodbye. And everybody else can say goodbye. Everybody else can say bye, bye. Whoa, hey, hey.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
And then you got married? And then you got married? Oh.
Okay, I have a question for Scott and Michelle. Do you guys write together? And what is that like? Yeah, you're gonna grab your mic and bring it down with you.
This is cool. I feel kind of like waiting.
Okay, well then you're gonna have to let Scott talk.
All right. We're ready now.
So do you guys write together? And if you do, how does it look like? How do you collaborate?
We collaborate in all kinds of different ways. I mean, we both write separately. We both write together. Sometimes we throw it back and forth, and somebody will write one line, and then the next person, we just pass it back and forth and say, okay, you do the next line. And so we really have no set way of how the song is going to happen. The song happens as a result of this sort of one line at a time kind of approach. But
Sometimes we write about things that we see our own lives, things that happen in our own lives. And there are times when he's at work and I'm sitting at home and I have a whole song written like in 20 minutes and I show it to him and he does the same thing. And there are times when we sit together and he can play a beautiful guitar lick and it'll inspire a whole song just by what he plays. It inspires the emotion and the song forms from that emotion that he made by the chords that he played on the guitar. So it's all different kind. There are times when I've had to pull over because it was coming so fast and I'm driving. Don't write a song and drive.
Nope, bad idea.
It's worse than texting.
It's definitely
because you're trying
worse
to
than
find
texting.
lipstick and napkins and trying to keep a napkin still, and it's really hard to do. So. But I really have had to pull over because songs have come so fast that I pull over and I write all the lyrics down. Okay, good. And then I move on. So it comes in different ways. They're gifts from God. So.
Okay, so in the flow of this thing, the last song that I wrote is called Notes on Napkins. It's true. I don't even have it memorized yet, so you guys are going to have to bear with me. But I have got, I did a show on Lakefront TV, and she asked me, about this whole thing of when songs coming on. I said, I've got hundreds, maybe thousands of little pieces of paper and napkins. Usually in the car it's a napkin because you got it from your last fast food run. Right. And you're at a stop sign, or worse, you're driving and you're trying to drive and write, and you get this idea that comes in your head. And most of them, you get the idea and then the song doesn't come, right? And then every once in a while it comes in 20 minutes. And then sometimes it's such a great idea that you just labor through it because you need to, Like you feel like this responsibility, right?
Yeah. Sometimes I've done it where I start songs and I get stuck somewhere along the way and I just sort of forgot about them. And I'll just happen to come across them in my guitar case and it's like, oh yeah, I was working on this song one day. And you know, sometimes a year might go by and I forgot that I ever even started it. And then I just finish it off, so.
True enough. So I have a special person in my life now. So it's fun because, you know, when I wrote love songs a year ago, it was just like, you know, for the person that I had hoped for. Then we actually get a person, and you guys are married, you know. You get the person, and then you can actually put a face with this whole idea and all these romantic notions that you have, and then you can put it. So anyway, so this is my latest, and it's called Notes on Napkins, and it's this whole thing about all of these songs and all these ideas. And I think if you could go and just gather up all the napkins, you could probably do my funeral if I die one day. I think it all kind of makes sense of my life and all these things and these ideas and these, you know, enlightened little moments that I had, and then I didn't do anything with them. And, you know, sometimes, unfortunately, that's my life. So this is called Notes on Napkins. I'm going to sing it. And then, Mindy, I'm going to have you sing the next one.
I'm just here.
I was going to have you sing this one.
I was going to say, though, you guys, in the days of modern technology, when you're in your car and you have an idea, put your own phone number on speed dial and call and sing into your phone. Then when that's what I do, and then you get home and then it's there.
I'm just not that smart, Mindy.
Well, I'm blonde, so stick with me.
He likes the napkins.
You gotta admit, though, the napkins are kind of poetic. Isn't it kind of cool? Just all of these napkins, just, you know, in every drawer of your house, and you find them, like Scott said, a year later, and it's like, holy cow, that was a good idea. Why didn't I do anything with that? Yep. Notes on napkins, pieces of you and me. Songs I started but never found their key. Thoughts that come to me floating from the blue. Tidbits of the love I feel for you. The love I feel for you. Oh. Notes on napkins, at times I don't follow through. My insufficiency, my discipline askew. Sentiments incomplete, but tension now renewed. As I try to find the music and the rhyme to say that I love you. Set the world on fire. Share all the victories with you. Share it all with you. Do 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 do. Notes on napkins, random musings that I feel. Songs I started but soon will become real. Representing all we have and all that is to be. To sing and say I love you. Know that you love me.
So that wouldn't sound quite right with songs on cell phones. How romantic. maybe not.
So Mindy,
Yes,
how
sir.
much of what you write is autobiographical and how much is just ideas that you get floating around when you're driving in your car and you sing your song into your cell phone?
Well, percentage-wise, it's probably very heavy on the fantasy. Yeah,
Fair enough. I've been there.
yeah. I'm still there. Yeah. I'll sing you a fantasy.
Good. We'd love to hear it.
Do you remember soap operas? Isn't it a sad thing that there are no soap operas, daytime soaps anymore? Unless you have satellite TV and you watch the reruns, which I don't have time for anymore, but I was watching As the World Turns years ago. I used to run home and sit and watch it with my mom. We bonded.
My mom watched it but lied about it and said she didn't.
Oh, no.
Would I say that if she were here? She's in another state.
And you can, oh, that's
You're
right.
right.
And you can't say stuff like that no matter how old you get because your mom will still ground you. So this is my fantasy called My Frenchman, based on a soap opera. I was taken by a Frenchman, so typical of Frenchmen, they say. The man wooed me and then stole my heart, much to my companion's dismay. Said, girl, he'll use you, he'll abuse you. All these Frenchmen have 8 lovers in a day. Now you're flying, soon you'll be crying, 'cause those Frenchmen just do things that way. You know those Frenchmen, well, they do things that way. I was talking with my Frenchman. He said, girl, there's one thing I think you should know. I've had women by the dozen, but I don't want other women anymore. You have shown me how it can be. Oh, and I think I'm falling deep in love with you. This is France, girl. Come on, take a chance, girl. I'll keep asking you until you say I do. I'll keep asking you until you say I do. That's scat singing in French. Well, I was taken by a Frenchman, so typical of Frenchmen, they say. The man wooed me and stole my heart. We drove to Paris and got married that same day. Ooh la wee. Now we are 3, a little baby on a French provincial bed. The man loves me, he turtle doves me. Oh, so typical of Frenchmen, they said. The boy was typical of Frenchmen, they said. He was typical of Frenchmen, they said. So typical of Frenchmen, they do.
That was great. Thank you, Mindy. Mindy Simmons, by the way. I didn't get a chance to officially introduce her. Scott looks like he might be bringing the French thing. I don't know.
I'm not bilingual. I'm really only Americanish.
All right, so Mindy, I have a question for you.
Yes, sir.
All right. Relative to what you feel like was just a natural given talent and what you've worked on and learned and developed as a craft, what's the balance between those things? Because I think a lot of people look at what we do and they think it's this like mystical thing that comes down from the sky and we're just gifted that we write great songs. For me, that wasn't the case.
That's the case for me.
Oh, well, thank you.
Sometimes.
That is
Sometimes
beautiful. I'm glad to be in your presence tonight. I didn't know I was stepping into this royalty.
Well, you know, the chair matches the outfit, and you know, you helped do that.
No, she made me get her another chair because the other chair did not match her outfit. So she said, not to be a diva, but can I have a different chair, please?
Yeah. My mother taught me how to take care of myself.
She learned that on the soap opera.
I did.
So seriously, like, what's the balance? Because I know for me, I mean, I think, you know, I had a gift, but I've worked it so much and I've tried to figure out the gift and I've tried to develop it and read a lot and studied. And what about you?
Well, I concur with Michelle. Sometimes it's manna from heaven. I've had songs that have written themselves, and I have one friend who says you put your hand up and the muse will gift you songs from time to time. If you never put your hand up, somebody else will grab it. Bob Dylan has all the unfinished songs. And they go on forever. They're like 25-minute songs. But there's also the crafting of songs, and I've done that too. I've labored. In fact, we were talking before we started the program about a festival that I was asking Michelle, why haven't you guys been back to it? And one of the requirements is to write a song about Florida. It's the Will McLean Festival, and you have to be a Florida songwriter. And so that I could keep coming back every year, I wrote a Florida song. And it was truly a labor of love. And it's very much a crafted song. It did not come easily.
By the way, what is that? Is that from the tourism department of Florida? How come you always have to write a Florida song?
Actually, Will McLean was a Florida troubadour. He wrote and spoke about preserving the Everglades and preserving the state of Florida in its pristine, pure condition, and that's what he was all about, and that was Margaret's beloved. So when he passed away, she created the festival in honor of him. So that's why it's a Florida Songwriters Festival.
Yeah.
What about you guys? As far as this whole balance, I mean, you said some will come in 20 minutes. I've had those come, and then I've had the ones that just I feel like are important enough that I need to keep working through them, and I'll put them away, and then I'll come back to them. But I mean, the balance between, as a songwriter, putting yourself to it, like anybody does any job, you know, we put ourselves to it and the discipline of it, and then the balance between that and where this mystical thing happens, and it's like, holy cow, I didn't even write this song. This song just wrote itself, right?
Those are the best, I think, most special.
But there are times when we've actually thought we finished a song, and we would go to like a songwriters workshop, or we'd go to like Folk Alliance or something like that, and we would share our songs with another artist, and they would actually say, I think you could probably do better on the last verse. And you know, we've had this song probably for a year. We thought it was done, and we've actually we took it back home. You want to do that song? Okay. So we took it back home, and we have a couple songs like that. But we took it back home, and we finished it, and we took it back to him, and he's like, much better. So,
yes.
Oh yeah.
sometimes you need feedback from other people. You know, you don't want to necessarily always be bound by that, but sometimes your objectivity gets lost when you're writing the song. And what Michelle was referring to, I had played this song for a friend of ours, Vance Gilbert, and he's like, it starts really good, and then it sounds like at the back you wanted to be done. And he's like, and I'm like, yeah, I think that's about what it was. So I would never have came to that conclusion on my own. You know, I thought, well, this turned out okay, I guess. And
hey, Scott, I have a friend that has a deal. Because when you write it, you think it's the greatest idea you've ever had, right? The inspiration comes, he's got the next morning test. He sleeps on it, and the next morning he's like, what was I thinking? I thought that was the best song I ever wrote. Are you kidding?
And then he's sobered up or something.
Yeah, exactly. So it's the next morning test. But anyway, keep going with what you were saying.
Yeah, so.
Play it for us, will you?
We shall.
Okay, good, thank you.
All right, so, you know, we were talking about, you know, our, I don't want that to land on the floor or anything. We're talking about, you know, is it autobiographical? Is it fantasy? This would be a case where the song is biographical. It isn't. It's just not about me. Growing up as a kid, my grandparents had this old house in a small town in Iowa, and we would come and visit as grandkids do. And my cousin and I were a couple of years, 1 year apart, and we would go to their house. And as my grandparents got older, they just basically lived down on the first floor, and the bedrooms were just shut off, you know. And so it was my cousin and I's responsibility to sleep upstairs. And so they would open the door, okay, go to bed, and this big wave of just dead air would come down the stairs because nobody had been there for months. So as a kid, we were kind of like, felt like we were, you know, part explorer and part mortician. You know, it's just, yeah, it wasn't the coolest environment to be in. But at the top of the stairs, they had this picture of a guy, very old picture, with the long beard that was in style in the 1800s. And he was a really stern-looking guy, and the picture was just freaky. And you know, every time you'd move, the eyes would follow you around the room. Like a Ghost and Mr. Chicken kind of thing. And so years later, I'm asking my dad, it's like, who was that guy? And he said, well, that was my grandpa, and he was in the Civil War. And so we started talking about it, and he would, you know, he told me a little bit about the background, and then I kind of looked into it to find out who this person was and maybe what he did. And so I researched what he did in the Civil War. He was part of the Iowa Infantry. And so I wrote this song, and like I say, I thought I was done, and I played it for Vance, and he's like, well, not quite. So I'll play it in I think it's done now, but maybe it's not. So we'll do a group thing, and you can say, no, keep writing.
Be nice.
This is April 9, 1865. My name is Henry Hill, and I write you from this battlefield. April 9, 1865. It's been a week since Richmond fell. From where I stand, you'd never tell. Cannon fire lighting up the night. I don't know if you'd heard, I'm down here with the 33rd, part of General Benton's 3rd Brigade. Spent 4 months in Alabama, homesick down to the last man. Stand in line just waiting to get paid. Fight the urge to run, too proud for that. Loading point your gun, pull the trigger back. April 9, 1865. Sunset came 5:30 and rifle fire pierced the sky. Shot and mortar falling down like rain. We outmanned them 4-1. In an hour less the work was done. The end of a long and bloody campaign. Fight the urge to run. Too proud for that. Loading point shotgun. Pull the trigger back. April 9, 1865. Had we known 6 hours before, Lee signed papers to end the war. 4,000 men would not have died in vain. On this ground marks the final stand, the last card played in losing hand. Leave it now for history to explain. For the urge to run, too proud for that. Throwing down my gun, never looking back. April 9, 1865. April 9, 1865. Thank you.
I think it's done.
Actually, that was the thing that was funny, because we were talking about that, and Van said, well, okay, tell me about this story. What's cool about it? And I said, well, you know, that battle didn't, once the battle started, the war had already technically been over. But they didn't have any communication to let him know that. He's like, well, where's that in the story? It's like, oh, there's my third verse right there.
Oh. Yes.
That's great. I'm actually reading a book right now, and it's a fellow who wrote a book that was loosely generally about his life, and he was making these different kind of life lessons and spiritual kind of lessons about his life. And the guy's very self-effacing, great writer, but was certainly not trying to it was a very honest book, and he talked about his failings much more than the things that he had gotten right. And these two movie producers came to him 5 years later or something like that. And this book had gotten a lot of success, and then he had written like 2 or 3 tanks. But yeah, he had tanked 2 or 3 books after that, and he was just in this terrible state, and he thought, you know, I'm a one-hit wonder, I can never write anything again. And these guys came to him and said, we want to make a movie about this book. He said, are you kidding? They said, no. But they said, the thing is, your book is a story, and it's got story elements, but it's got to be a good story. And your book is almost a good story. It's close, and there's a lot of great things in your book, and we want to make a movie out of it, but it's not quite there. So we want to take your life and we want to tweak it a little bit, if that's okay with you. And we want to make your life a great story that we can put up on the screen. So the premise of this book that I'm reading now is him looking at his story and his life and saying, if I knew that somebody was going to come to me and write a movie about my life, how would I live? How would it affect your day-to-day decisions? How would you live your life if you knew that somebody was going to come and write a movie about your life? Because in this guy's case, that was going to happen. So it's kind of like revisionist history, but you're alive and you actually can do it. So anyway, segue to this next song that I'm going to share with you. Several years ago, my grandfather, who was an amazing, amazing man, he moved to Leesburg back in the Depression. He was 12 years old. I didn't find out this story until he was dying. I was living in Atlanta, and he was here at the Leesburg Hospital, and I would come and, you know, on a day I had off, I would drive down and I would come and spend some time with him. And never knew this story until then. But he was in South Georgia, and it was during the Depression. and his family had no money. He was 12 years old, and he had met a man who was on a train coming through South Georgia, and he said, I've got work for you in Florida if you'll come. We've got citrus groves, and if you come down, I have work for you. So as a 12-year-old little boy, he hopped on a train all by himself, came down to Leesburg, and worked, and made a life. Met my grandmother. They had, children. They had 6 children, and here I am. But this guy was the greatest storyteller, and he would tell the same stories like 10 times because they were his favorite stories, the type. And before I read this book, when he died, I wrote a song for his funeral. And I put the song away. I haven't sang this thing in years. But as I was reading this book, I pulled it out, talk about, pulling out a song. And the song's called Your Life Was a Story. And you told it well, you'll hear it in just a moment. But the idea of this guy was a storyteller, and he would tell all of these stories about his life and would just pull you in, and it was so great. But he lived it. He lived the story. And this book that I'm reading now is this idea of living a life that's a story, that's a movie, that's something that somebody would want to know about, somebody would want you to emulate, somebody would want to, watch a movie about it in this guy's case. So anyway, my grandfather, he got it right. Way before I knew about this book or this whole idea, he got it right. And so I'm going to share with you. I haven't sang this song since his funeral, which was in 2002. So I really pulled this one but this book kind of pulled it out of me. So this is called Your Life Was a Story, and it's about my grandfather. The year was 1921, sitting on a porch and listening to a family singing songs about heaven, wondering what life would be bringing. The year was 1929. You hit the road to come to town, not another living soul around, but there was work to be done. You were a good, hard-working son. Your life was a story, and you told it well. Your love was expressed in the stories you tell. The story continues, a new verse in the song. Your life was a story, you take it along. The year was 1938. A brown-eyed girl came into sight. You asked if she would be your wife, and together you formed a life. The year was 2002. You left this world for another home, but none of us were left alone. There was work. You had the memories of you. Your life was a story, you told it well. Your love was expressed in the stories you tell. The story continues, a new verse in the song. Your life was a story, we'll take it along. Na 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 na. So these These are some memories of your simple life. Pictures of time we shared. There were the ties that bind. Your life was a story. You told it well. Your love was expressed in the stories you tell. The story continues, a new verse in the song. Your life was a story. You take it along. You take you along.
So Rod, from a practical standpoint, was it difficult to be able to turn off the emotion of, loving your grandfather, to be able to actually get through a song like that for his funeral? I mean, I couldn't do
it was
that.
horrible. Here's what I had to do. And unfortunately, for that moment, I had to separate myself. I couldn't look at anybody in my family that I loved. I couldn't think about, I was just singing words when I performed it. And that's not the way you want to perform a song. But for that, time, I just had to separate, because this stuff, I heard stories from him just in those 2 or 3 months prior to him dying that nobody in my family had ever told me. He hadn't told me. We were sitting in his hospital, room, just 4 blocks over from here, and he's telling me these things that I never knew. And so, yeah, but then it was all of this wonderful material, so it was easy to write a song about who he was and how he lived, and again, his life, this whole story thing, which is, as I'm right now kind of living in this and sitting and thinking about, my life and the decisions I make and how I spend my time and all that, it's huge. So that's why I pulled that song back out. So thank you all for listening to that.
Sometimes I have to sing a song over and over and over again and cry and get through it and practice it enough that I can perform it by myself without crying. And then I can present it to an audience.
Right. Sometimes you have to separate yourself from the song, and sometimes that's really hard to do when you write a song about a certain memory, because obviously when you sing a song that you wrote that's important to you and that has been inspired by, say, maybe a death in the family or I don't know, but you sing it over and over and over and over again, so you get used to it and you separate yourself from it. It's a scary thing sometimes, because you know that the song is going to take you back to that memory, take you back to that person, and you still have to separate yourself even with that moving picture going on in your head.
So a question from you, Michelle, and then you, Mindy. How vulnerable do you feel when you stand up here and, I can sing a cover song and, it's somebody else's stuff, and I can just get into it and I don't feel like I'm being so vulnerable, but then, my words and my notes and my phrasing,
Sure.
It's scary.
Sure.
So how do you guys feel? How vulnerable do you feel?
Well, I can tell you that, and I'm sure that I can probably speak for her as well, is that every time that you hear a song that we've written, we are opening up our lives, our personal life, to you. What we are, who we are, what we've seen in our lifetime, even our fantasies. And when we play those songs for you, and they're either ignored, it hurts. Sometimes it hurts. And that's when you, as a songwriter, I sometimes haven't separated myself from being the songwriter versus being, separating myself from the song. So, yeah, like you said, singing cover songs is easy. It's like pie, you can talk over his song, I don't care. Talk over Moon Dance, I don't care. Talk over Mustang Sally, I don't care about that. But when I sing a song to you that's important to me, that's about my life and my heart, that I've written down and that I'm willing to share my personal diary with you, sometimes I like the attention.
And
the
that's
respect.
what these formats are for.
Right, exactly.
And that's why we don't sing in bars anymore.
I still do.
You'll get over it.
I know.
This is not one of those songs. This is a sing-along tune. And it's a song that I wrote when a girlfriend of mine said, Mindy, you write so many male-bashing tunes. You need to stop it. You need to think about what you're doing. You're a spiritual woman, and you believe in what you say, so you manifest. And I said, yeah. And she said, so every time you write a male bashing tune, all you're doing is pushing men away, which is why you can't get a date. So I said, okay, fine. I will write a happy love song about somebody I've been involved with. And then I remembered a relationship that was really rich and wonderful and happy. So I ran home and wrote this song before I forgot. And if you have a sweetheart in your life, you can sing along, and the chorus goes like this. Snuggling with you is the least I can do. Snuggling with you is the least I can do. Snuggling with you is the least I can do to show you my appreciation. Okay, so that's your part when we get to it. Early in the morning when I wake up with you, I feel so much in love, I just don't know what to do. You make me so happy, baby, I just gotta sing about the love and joy and tenderness and all the things you bring. And snuggling with you is the least I can do. Snuggling with you is the least I can do. Snuggling with you is the least I can do to show you my appreciation. Now in the afternoon when I could be feeling blue, instead I get a tingle, babe, it's all 'cause of you. Going about my business, I've got you on my mind, 'cause a better lover in my life I never thought I'd find. And snuggling with you is the least I can do. Snuggling with you is the least I can do. Snuggling with you is the least I can do to show you my appreciation. That was excellent. All right, now do this with me. I wanna snuggle with you. Ooh, yes I do. So I know what you're thinking. Who is the guy? Wrote this song for my cat. This is autobiographical.
That's a perfect segue. Just wait.
True story. So the bridge is in code. You're a cat lover, you'll understand. And so later in the evening when the lights are low, we'll cuddle up together, let the good times flow. I love you so much inside, I hope you can see the way I feel about you and just what you mean to me. And snuggling with you is the least I can do. Snuggling with you is the least I can do. Snuggling with you is the least I can do to show you my appreciation. Schnookums, I wanna show you my appreciation.
Yeah. So did that work then, Mindy? And you got more cats as a result of that, or how did
Yes,
that work?
How many
yes.
do you have?
And I'll tell you what, it took me forever to learn how to purr in without coughing up a fur ball. It just forever.
So how many cats do you have now?
I have a dog. Actually, in all truthfulness, Schnookums was my last cat.
Well, see,
She
you
was
can't
20 years old, and I just
20
can't.
years old?
Yeah, she was 20 years old when she passed away. And I loved her so much, I can't. That's it, that's enough.
Well, you
I
can't
can't do it
script
again.
this stuff, and this is why I didn't have an exact plan. We're going to take an intermission after this song, but I would be unfair if I didn't sing a song after your song because
Because you have one.
I have one. And,
And he's leading the band.
and I am, so I get to say who does the next thing. But I'm a dog person, all right?
Yeah, I like my dogs.
I love dogs, and my thing about cats, and tell me if I'm wrong, Mindy, when people who are cat people come to me and they tell me about their cat, they say, well, this is not a normal cat. Well, how is it better than normal? Well, he'll come to you and he rubs up against you and he wants affection, he'll jump in your lap. And I say, that sounds like a dog. They say, well, no, it's a cat.
I
But
don't
it
have a normal cat
sounds
either.
like a dog. I'm a
It's-
dog person.
It's a
But
pet.
anyway, so this is a song that is full of stereotypes. But
I had a dog named Bear.
a dog named Bear.
Yes, and when I got him, he had mange so bad, he was a rescue dog, that he didn't have any fur on his chest or on his back. And I loved him. He lived 17 years. And I wanted to write a song, but I could never get past just, if you ain't got no hair, he must be bare. As far as I ever got with it, and that was enough. So, it's one of those songs on a napkin.
Well, I have to confess to you that I wrote this song, and this is a relationship song, but I was single at the time when I wrote this song. But it's comparing and contrasting the idea of women and your complicated nature. But
What do you mean by that?
it's not women, no. It's very female honoring. It's kind of male
Rod,
bashing.
just sing it and we'll be the judge.
It's kind of male bashing. When she says she's ill, she's not talking about the flu. But just about that time, you better find something else to do. And when she flashes you a white, you may have some fun tonight. And just about that time, you better hold on tight. She goes from dog to cat, from sunny to gray. She can be 6 different people in the very same day. She changes like the weather as she comes and goes away. But through it all, she knows to hear you say, baby, baby, it's okay. How is it so far?
Right.
She spends her time on Venus while you hang out on Mars. She shops for scented lotions while you puff on big cigars. My point cannot be clearer, sir. You don't have a clue. Just love her for exactly who she is, and she'll love you. She goes from dog to cat, from sunny to gray. She can be 6 different people in the very same day. Just like the weather as she comes and goes away. But through it all, she loves to hear you say, baby, She goes from dog to cat, from sunny to gray. She can be 6 different people in the very same day. She changes like the weather as she comes and goes away. But through it all, she loves to hear you say, baby, baby, it's okay.
Well, thanks for writing a song about me.
It's what I do. So that was not female bashing in any way, was it? It was op-ed.
I know,
Yes,
let
we're
me talk.
moody.
So we do sometime. All right.
6
Again,
different
as I said, this is the
personalities.
first time we've done this. We didn't know how it was going to be. Do you guys want to hear some more? Oh, yeah. Okay, good.
Anybody ever walked along a labyrinth before? Aren't they great? This song is very, very easy to sing. All it is breathe in, breathe out. Step into now.
That's it.
Breathe in, breathe out, yeah. Step into now. I place my feet upon this labyrinth and let it take me where it will. But it's my mind that wanders off the path. Find it hard to keep it still. But as I walk along, I hear nature's song, and I breathe in, breathe out. Step into now. I breathe in, breathe out. Step into now. I walk the circles of this labyrinth, back and forth toward the core. There's a place where my worries go, and I don't feel them anymore. And as I walk along to the beat of nature's song, and I breathe in, breathe out. Step into now. Can I hear you? Breathe in, breathe out. Step into now. But there is something magical when you're waltzing with the earth. Hey, I'm in the center of this labyrinth. All is quiet, all is still. A sanctuary in a single breath. I let it take me where it will. 'Cause I am not alone. I am part of nature's song. And I breathe in, breathe out. Step into now. I wanna hear step into now. Breathe in, breathe out, walk along the labyrinth, step into now from the inside out. Breathe in, breathe out, walk along the labyrinth, step into now from the inside out. Breathe in, breathe out. Thank you very much.
Mindy, could you share another one with us, please?
I sing in churches. Way better than bars. Step up in the right direction, yes. And I was watching TV with my son one Saturday night and got a phone call around 10 in the evening, and it was a minister that I was working with the next day, only I had not written it on my calendar and had no idea that I was supposed to be anywhere the next morning. And she said, I just was calling to touch base with you and let you know that I'm going to be talking about peace. And I walked over to my calendar and saw nothing and went, yep, got it right here. I'm ready. And she said, well, I'd like you to do something different rather than just the typical peace songs we always sing. So I sat down at my piano at 10 in the evening on Saturday, and this is one of those songs that the Muse just gifted me. It's called Peace Like a River. May peace like a river flow constant in my heart. May its mighty rushing power make me strong. And may the wisdom of its timelessness sanctify my soul. May peace like a river be my goal. May love like a mountain stand firm within my heart. May its awesome, steadfast power make me strong. And may the wisdom of its timelessness sanctify my soul. May love like a mountain be my goal. May joy like a fire burn eternal in my heart. May its warm, transforming power make me strong. And may the wisdom of its timelessness sanctify my soul. May joy like a fire be my goal. May its mighty rushing power, may its awesome, steadfast power, may its warm, transforming power make me strong. And may the wisdom of God's timelessness sanctify my soul. May joy like a fire and love like a mountain and peace like a river be my goal. Namaste. Yes, sir.
So you started at 10 o'clock, and when did you finish?
At about 10:15. Yeah, that's one. I just sat down and it just came out, and I went, thank you. That's amazing grace right there.
Absolutely. Either way. Words come first sometimes, sometimes the lyrics, sometimes the melody, sometimes a guitar part. Mm-hmm. It really depends on the song and how it's given to you. It comes in puzzles. I don't know, but there's really no set way for us to write a song. it's, you know, sometimes the lyrics come first. Like I said, I had to pull over one time, you know, a couple of times while I'm driving, because you're not supposed to write songs and drive at the same time. So you pull over, and I had to write all these lyrics down because they were coming so fast. But then there are other songs that I've written that I've come up with this really cool guitar part that inspired a whole song from the guitar part. So it really is how the song is given to you.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Thank you.
You too can be a songwriter. Right here in Leesburg.
I will be teaching a class very soon if you would like to learn.
See?
I'm going to share another with you guys. This is one of my favorite songs that I've written, and it's because the language, you get into a metaphor, and sometimes it's hard to stay there. And you try to find all the language that you can mine that connects with that particular, you know, venue that you're heading down, the avenue that you're heading down. And this one came very quickly. It was one of those that, you know, came probably in 30 minutes or less. But I was just so blessed that the language kind of stayed where it needed to stay, and I didn't try to find 10 different metaphors to communicate what I was trying to say. But this is a song, it's called The Closet, and it's about the place in our home and in our heart. The back of my heart has a closet with a chest of secrets under lock and key. The filthy and profound that I got tightly in a place between myself and me. The walls consist of more than brick and mortar. I'm virtuoso in the art of the conceal. I need a place where I can crack it open, where I can be more honest and more real. Yeah. So love me when you see my wounds and bruises. Love me when I show you who I am. Let me put away all the lame excuses and take the introspection self-exam. Closets are in everybody's houses. Who wants to have a house and be alone? So come inside my house and share my closet, and we can find the meaning of a home. We can find the meaning of a home. A home. A home. I don't know. I was alone at the time, if you didn't figure that one out. No, it's this idea of, you know, you've been in a relationship and it didn't work out, and then here you find yourself reevaluating everything in your life. And it's like, okay, if I'm going to be vulnerable and take that next step, what's it going to look like? You know, and I think you want somebody that knows you and they're okay with all the great things about you that you put up there in the first, 2 weeks of the dating, and then all the other stuff that comes along, and they love you anyway, you know. And I think in a romantic relationship or even in a family relationship, my parents, my sister, my family, they know the junk and they love me, and that's what home is. That's the definition of home to me. So, anyway, let me ask you guys something. Oh, go ahead, Scott. I was going to ask y'all language, because that one to me, was important with the language and sitting in the place that I sat. How do you get better at that? What do you guys do to get better with the language?
Well, I avoid all words with S's and P's.
It's more of a functional.
No hopping on the mic. My songwriting is actually, in my opinion, very elemental as far as language. It's very pragmatic.
You're trying to connect with somebody.
To me, I have one song that is very heady, if you will, lyrically. But the rest of them are just right there. There it is, snuggling with you. There it is, my French man, just a little fantasy. And Peace Like a River is kind of, it is what it is. I think if you try too hard, then it's almost too sophisticated, if you will. And I've witnessed a lot of songwriters and a lot of performers, and I've been out in the audience and thought, well, they're certainly very self-indulged. They're entertaining themselves, and they really are not trying to connect with me as the audience. Yeah. And it bores me, and I'll leave. And they could be an amazing artist, but if I don't feel a connection, then why be there?
Mm-hmm. There has to be a universal tie in there somewhere. I mean, otherwise you are singing about yourself exclusively, and it seems a little narcissistic.
That's a good word. What's that mean?
That word's a little heady there, Scott.
Okay, and if we look at the big chart over here, what we'll see. Well, as artists, it is kind of, especially if you're thinking about yourself and you're trying to express yourself, and you can get a little bit too much of yourself. So that's kind of what it is. It's just like being a little bit too self-centered, I suppose. So.
Yeah, and sometimes.
Okay.
You have a song about somebody else?
Yes, we do.
Well, please share it.
There's a demographic that gets ignored a lot. And as a songwriter, I saw that. I recognized that their situation needed to be elevated to a little loftier plane. I am, of course, talking about Elvis impersonators. Yeah, all right. It's okay. You're among friends. My name is Pete. I'm an Elvis impersonator.
Hi, Pete.
But I don't like to lie about things very much. Because when you lie, you have to remember the lie. And I don't like lying. I really like just singing about the truth. Singing about truth as I know it. Even when you're writing about an Elvis impersonator, there's an element of truth there. And in our case, our little Elvis guy was up in Iowa. And we were sitting at a stoplight one day, and Elvis came by in his sweet ride. And there was a song right there. It's like, well, somebody needs to write that song, and no one else was there, so we had to document.
We took advantage of that muse.
Yeah, so the funny thing about being an Elvis impersonator, seems to me anyways, is that you never see somebody impersonating, the 1950s Elvis or the 60s Elvis. It's always the mid, or I guess the beginning 70s, the mid 70s, when he was a little more portly. You know, and we were trying to figure out why that was. You know, my theory is that there's a lot less training involved. You can really eat anything you want to at any time, as long as the jumpsuit has some elasticity. You were pretty good. So it's some sort of a polyester rayon blend, I believe.
I have to tell you the story. So we did write this song. Everything in this song is absolutely true. We just had to make it rhyme. I mean, you can't make this stuff up. And so, but the other day, so I'm smelling a sequel, because the other day, I saw Elvis. We were on our way to the Listening Room Festival in Tampa, on our way down there, and I look over, and I see Elvis driving a Napa Auto Parts truck. It was awesome.
It's his day job. So this is, I think I saw Elvis. This is all true. We'll just take you through Elvis up in Iowa, and maybe there's Elvis down here, and he maybe does the same thing. I don't know. I think I saw Elvis driving a minivan, a baby blue 92 Dodge Caravan. He held it all together, some rust and a rubber band. I think I saw Elvis driving a minivan. Think I saw Elvis at the Goodwill store, crammed into a pair of pants someone had owned before. Even the king of rock and roll, he don't shop like no fool anymore. I think I saw Elvis at the Goodwill store.
Yeah, yeah.
Size decides the Elvis you will be. Young and thin, you're a 56. Old and fat, a 73. It's not my place to judge who you pretend to be. There's a little bit of Elvis in you and me.
Kind of scary, huh?
Think I saw Elvis at the Taco Bell. Peanut butter and banana wrapped in a tortilla shell. He was there and gone so fast, kinda hard to tell. I think I saw Elvis at the Taco Bell.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Size decides the Elvis you will be. Young and thin, you're a 56. Old and fat, a 73. It's not my place to judge who you pretend to be. 'Cause there's a little bit of Elvis in you and me. Said there's a little bit of Elvis in you and me. Said there's a little bit of Elvis in you and me. On your remote.
That was fun, and I think I've seen that guy. I think we all have.
You asked that question, or you asked that question, how do you write songs, who writes the songs, and that was actually a collaboration between the two of us. So.
Well, that worked.
Good song. Is that on one of your
Y'all
albums?
do more of that, all right? Because that worked. That was fun.
Is that on one of your albums? That's a good song right there. I don't care who you are, that's a good song.
And they'll be right over here. They'll be right over here selling those albums right afterwards.
You got that. Do that lip thing, girl. She got the lip going on.
Mindy, will you do another song for us, please?
I'd love to.
Good.
I'm just thinking what Elvis is that was Elvis's mom said, don't give me no lip. Yeah, Ma. So this festival that we were talking about, Will McLean Festival, you have to be a Florida songwriter. And there is a legend named Frank Thomas, who he and his wife has passed away, very, very, very fine, folky songwriters. Well, he is like the godfather of this whole Florida folk song scene. And I met him at the festival. I had gone to just attend the festival and witness it. And he shook my hand. He said, "I hear you're a songwriter." And I said, "Yes, sir." And he said, "You write about Florida?" And I said, "No, sir." And he said, "Well, why not?" I don't know. I'd never thought of writing about Florida. I'm from the United States of America. I write about everywhere I've been. I'm a Navy brat, so I've been all over the country. But I decided, well, okay, I've been here at that time I'd been here about 10 years, so that about makes me a native. But you don't say that in Yeehaw Junction. No. So I wrote this song, and it's called Ain't Florida Neat. And it goes like this. Oh, we got roaches the size of Texas, and they got wings so they can fly. They're full of protein. You think I'm kidding? Hey, my mom can feed an army with her sweet palmetto pie. Yum, yum. And we got fire ants. Oh, those cute little fire ants. They're so tiny, why, they can't hurt a thing. But then they'll swarm you. No, they don't warn you. They all get set, get ready. One blows a whistle in unison. They sting right up to your kneecaps. We got seaweed in our bathing suits. We got sand spurs in our feet. But we're kicking back with Jimmy's margaritas, swatting sand fleas and mosquitoes. Ain't Florida neat? Yep, mosquitoes. Oh, we've got mosquitoes. And all the females suck your blood and make you itch. It's satisfying, no, I ain't lying. When one bites you, you slap her dead and say, "I got you, you mosquito." Then there's love bugs. I hate love bugs. Well, let's see. Is there a stronger word than hate? A bug who gets it way more than I do. You know, they're hooked up for a lifetime. I can't even get a date. Oh, man. Yeah, we've got red tide in our oceans, and there's rotten fishes down on the beach. But we're kicking back with Jimmy's margaritas, fighting gators for our golf balls. Ain't Florida neat? Yeah, we got reptiles. Oh, we got lots of reptiles. We got snakes and frogs and gecko lizards too. They eat the insects, so they have my full respect. Yeah, I'd hate to live in Florida without them, wouldn't you? Yeah, we got seaweed in our bathing suits. We got sand spurs in our feet. We're kicking back with Jimmy's margaritas, dodging possums on the highways, fighting gators for golf balls, racing snowbirds for parking. Ain't Florida neat? Thank you.
You know, a minute ago you were talking about connecting with folks. I think you just put an exclamation point on that.
Thank you.
You have connected with folks.
Thank you.
Oh, I'm going. There's only one way to follow that, is to end. We thought it would be kind of cool. We've done all of our songs tonight, and we hope that y'all enjoyed this evening, and we would really be honored to try to do more of this in Leesburg. So the only way we do this is for you and your friends to come out so that we can do it again. But thank you all for coming out tonight. This is the first. I am not aware of anything like this that has been done around this part of town and the state. So I am very, very blessed to be a part of this. I want to thank Michelle and Scott and Mindy for coming out tonight. And we thought it would be kind of fun because we've done all of our music. And if you're a songwriter, then you like the Beatles. If you don't like the Beatles, then you're probably not a songwriter. It just kind of goes together.
Or you're too young to know who the Beatles
But then
were.
then you need to learn about the Beatles.
Yes.
So we thought it would be fun just I'm going to try. I'm going to get my guitar here, but we're just going to kind of do this, and we're going to end with a Beatles song, and I want to thank you all for coming. And if you want to sing along with us, go ahead. And this is one of the great Beatles songs of
All
maybe
time.
100 that are great, but this is a really good. Scott, what's your favorite Beatles song?
Let it be.
That's
No.
a really hard
Actually,
question.
it's not.
Hey
It's
Jude.
Hey
Yes,
Jude.
yes.
Hey
I've
Jude
heard
is a
I've heard
great
Hey
song.
Jude 8 million trillion times, but if it comes on in the car and I've already arrived at my destination, I'm going to sit in my car and I'm going to wait till Paul finally screams, and then it's like, okay,
Yeah.
and then I'll get out, maybe. But things have really turned kind of bad recently. I was at a grocery store and I had a John Lennon shirt on, and this young girl was checking the food, you know, and she kept staring at my shirt. I thought she was staring at my awesome build, probably, but you know, but apparently it was my shirt. And this other girl, I said, "Is there a problem?" And she's like, and this other girl was standing next to her, and she said, "No, she's just trying to figure out who that person is." It's like, oh, has it come to that? Really, has it come to that?
Hey, terrible true story. Apparently, when Paul McCartney was on the Grammy Awards this last year, like a couple months ago, all the kids were tweeting, "Who's that guy? He's kind of cool."
Oh, he's way cool. He's the coolest
How sad is that?
69-year-old singer there is. Of course, you guys can sing along at any point, too.
When I find myself in times of trouble, Mother Mary comes to me, speaking words of wisdom, let it be. And in my hour of darkness, she is standing right in front of me, speaking words of wisdom, let it be. 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 With her words of wisdom, let it be.
And when the broken-hearted people living in the world agree, there will be an answer, so let it be. For though they may be parted, there is still a chance that they will see. There will be an answer, let it be. Oh, let it be, let it be, let it be, let it be. There will be an answer, let it be.
When the night is cloudy, there is still a light that shines on me. Shine until tomorrow, let it be. Well, I wake up to the sound of music. Mother Mary comes to me, singing words of wisdom, let it be. Let it be, let it be, let it be, let it be. With the words of wisdom, let it be. Let it be, let it be, let it be, let it be. Will be an answer,
Let it be. Let's all sing it. Let it be. Let it be.
Let it be.
Let it be. let it be. There will be an answer, let it be.
Thank you, folks, for being here tonight. I had an awesome, awesome time.
Yes, thank you.
I'm honored to have been able to.
Yay, Leesburg!
Thank you all. Thank you.